Hi everybody, this is Kristin Rodier from the Writing Center, and I just want to talk to you a little bit today about revision of your writing. I say revision because I think it's a stronger word than editing, okay? The best thing anyone ever told me when I was revising my work is that writing is rewriting, okay? All of your writing has to go through a stage of revision for it to be, good for your reader's ears and eyes. So let's think, what really does rewriting mean? Well, it's not just sort of presenting your ideas in the first draft of a sentence and then just editing that sentence so it's grammatically correct. It really means intentional revision. So looking at what you've put out there, grasping the idea, and asking yourself, can this be expressed more clearly and concisely? If you're interested in a resource on this topic, I super duper recommend The Elements of Style by William Strunk. And I have a couple of favorite mottos that come out of this work. One is that vigorous writing is concise. It's a lovely sentence. Omit needless words. And this last one you can read. So we can notice he uses the term unnecessary 4 times in that sentence. So let's just take a look at a couple of examples of revision. So I'm just going to readjust this here. Here's a quote. Now I'm putting this out there. Here's a quote from one of my undergraduate essays. Massaro, though, could take this argument further and discuss what the implications would be when the shaming failed. For instance, would we be harming the offender unnecessarily? Great. Let's look at that sentence. It has 27 words, 3 commas, 1 semicolon, and it ends on a question mark, which is, of course, less solid than ending on a period, ending on a declarative sentence. Here's a revision of it. Okay, that sentence only has 13 words and 1 period. Which one of these two did you like to read? Okay, I hope it's the revised one. Here's another quote from one of my undergraduate essays, and you just have to forgive me. I was in philosophy, I still am. We can deduce from this assertion and what she says in her exposition, where she raises countless doubts about the reliability and practicality of an emotion-guided legal system, that she would favor a reformation and continuation of the current system of punishment due to its ability to better appropriate crime to punishment. Okay, not only is that a run-on sentence, let's break down some of the pieces here. First of all, it's a huge sentence and it's a run-on, so it needs to be shortened for sure, broken up into a couple sentences or take out some repetition. The first thing you should notice here is where she raises countless doubts about the reliability, all that is repetition from an earlier paragraph. Okay, so you can take for granted that your reader is reading your writing. But when you're writing, you might forget what you've written above. So you should be checking for repetition like this. Yellow is overdoing the logical language. This is a classic novice mistake, which basically you try to imitate the form of the writing that you're reading. So I thought I was writing like the people I was reading. I thought I, needed to write like them. Maybe they weren't great writers. Maybe they had too much logical language. The purple can be one word, so a lot of times people do this to try to add clarity, which is to add a second word, reformation and continuation, when you can just pick one word that sort of covers both. So try to avoid doubling up words when you don't need it. And green is very ambiguous verbiage to appropriate crime to punishment. Here, I'm going to redo this whole sentence, and the blue is redundant. Anytime you have current, right? If it exists, it's current, so you don't need to say that it's current. For example, have you ever called a business and they say, you have reached McDonald's. We are now currently closed, right? We are now currently closed. What about just we are closed, right? Now is the now. We're all in the now. Currently is given. Closed, right? It's given in the word closed. So be careful of that kind of doubling up on existential questions there. Here's my revised version of that sentence. Despite the author's hesitations, she favors revising the system to better fit crimes to punishments. Hopefully that was easier to read and made better sense, and it was actually grammatically correct. Okay, and so the last motto here that I'll leave you on is just write sentences that you would want to read, okay? Try to really put yourself in the position of your reader when you're, not when you're writing, but when you're revising. When you're in the revision stage, you think that's when you really need to think of your reader. And try to make life easy for them by writing concisely, omitting needless words, cutting down on excess punctuation, and making sure you don't have run-on sentences that go all kinds of places. Okay, I hope that helps you for writing more concisely and seeing a demonstration of how to revise your sentences.